Okay, and we are live. Thank you everyone for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday night. We are coming to you live from Seattle, Washington, where we had just a spectacular day here in the Pacific Northwest. It was absolutely perfect in every sense, except for the fact that it was still a little chilly, but spring's around the corner and spirits are definitely up in this part of the world. So it's really exciting to be here. It's really exciting to be doing this call again, and I really appreciate everyone's participation. I appreciate all the feedback that I've been getting from these calls on material that we can be sharing, things that we might be lacking. And really, I welcome your constructive criticism and your feedback. So please reach out to me if you have some suggestions or some comments you'd like to share with me on how we can make this better, because this meeting is for you. This is designed for you. This is designed to help you build a very big, very enormous, successful, thriving, duplicating enagic business so that we can have that very precious gift of time, which is why we're all doing this in the first place, so that we can buy our time back, so we can spend our time doing the things we love with the people we love the most. That's what this is all about. So before we get started, I just want to give a couple shout outs. First of all, Jonathan Candelario, for those of you that were in Seattle this past week, got up, he took the stage at the Seattle office this past Saturday, gave his first public presentation, and it was spectacular. It was everything you want to see in a presentation, and it's just perfect timing that we're talking about that tonight, because I'm looking at the key elements of a great presentation. And Jonathan, it was short, it was to the point, it was concise. He had passion. He knew what he was talking about. He brought authority to the conversation. He smiled, he was engaged with the audience, and he knew when it was time to be done. It was spectacular. And not a single person in the room would have guessed that it was his first time speaking to a room of that size. So I just want to congratulate Jonathan on not only that, but the tremendous amount of success that you've been having over the last couple months. I mean, brother, I have seen you from 2 years ago to where you are now, and the transformation in you with everything that's going on in your personal life, in your professional life, and stepping up around the office, stepping up your game in your business. Every single Saturday, this guy has fresh, warm bodies in the room at the demos. And it's no wonder he's getting the results he is. So I just want to say thank you, Jonathan, for your commitment, for demonstrating to everyone out there what true leadership is, and that you don't have to be a 6A2 or a 6A2-3 to demonstrate true leadership in this business. So thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to say my biggest strength through all that was because I was willing, and I was super, super coachable. And I listened.
And you
took action.
Absolutely. And we learned from each other. And, just this past week, Jonathan was on the Kong show with JJ. And JJ said that was one of his top 3 favorite episodes ever. I mean, just dropping gold nuggets through that whole experience. It was great. Yeah, I know. That's just JJ. That's who we are. We're crazy water people, but that's because we're healthy, we're happy, we're blessed, we have time, we have freedom. And I really hope that there are new people on this call right now, because man, there is so much energy going on on this call around the Seattle office, just around enagic. So it's very exciting to be part of it right now. So thank you again, Jonathan. And I also want to give a shout out to Chris Boland. I don't know if he's had a chance to join us yet tonight, but he's going to be stepping up this Saturday. So if you're in the Seattle area, make sure you swing by the enagic office. He starts at 1:30, and he's going to be giving the water presentation. And I believe Dan Edlund is going to be following up with the global business opportunity overview. So it's just going to be a spectacular Saturday. Lots of orders coming out of that office right now. I shared the numbers on our last call on where we are in the company in terms of our goals. And guys, we are really, really close to hitting our goals in terms of our sales around globally and locally as well. So just by stepping it up a little bit more, we're going to get there. Okay, so some announcements. We have a lot of stuff coming up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to get into it. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So here's some announcements we have coming up, some new things. Well, just some reoccurring things I want to make mention of. First of all, the call every single Saturday morning with Eli and Jelena. We talk about this every time. It's just very important. Make sure you take a screenshot of this slide. I'm not going to go through each item one by one. Just take a screenshot of this so you get the information. This is what's happening and when. We have new stuff happening every Saturday at the Seattle office. This call is reoccurring every 2 weeks, and there's going to be a slight modification to that schedule. I'll talk about that at the end of this call. But again, just make sure that you're dialing in to these weekly calls with Eli and Jelena. If you're in the Seattle area, get to the office every Tuesday. If you can't make it there, if you're out of town, get on this call, because we're sharing so much of that valuable information that you're going to get in those trainings. And then we have a major Pacific Northwest event coming up at the end of April. That's going to be in Linwood, Washington, right near the Enagic office. So make sure you're here. If you're in the Idaho or in Oregon, and or even down in California, just make sure you can get here for that. It's going to be a great event. JV Pacifico, Kongan Joe, Carlos Gonzalez. We're going to have some huge name people here. It's going to be a spectacular event. Okay, so as promised, here's what we're going to expect tonight. We're going to start with a very brief review of what we've covered so far. We're not going to cover the Enagic business plan tonight. If you want to review that, or if you want to get that information, you can go to YouTube, the True Health Legacy channel, and all of those, the presentations that we've done previously are posted there. You can get, at the beginning of any of those calls, you can get a very brief overview of the Enagic business, or you can schedule a meeting with me. I'd love to have a call with you, and I can go through piece by piece how that business works. It's very important to have that information, but for time's sake, we're not going to review that this evening, but we are going to review what we've done in the past 2 weeks. So we're going to talk about the skills. We're going to talk about the skills that we've discussed over the last 2 weeks. Tonight, we're going to get into presenting, and that's my favorite piece. That's my absolute favorite skill. And so that's why I'm really excited about tonight. And I think we have a lot of great information to share about that. I did forget to mention the Las Vegas event. So again, we've been talking about this for a while now. September 3rd through 5th at the Mirage Hotel and Casino. You can get your tickets at enagic.com. There's a lot of different ways you could win tickets. There's all kinds of promotions surrounding this event. Guys, if you're part of Enagic and you consider this to be a real business to you and you're committed to this, you have to be at this event, especially if you've never been to a global event. Actually, if you've been to a global event, then you have no reason not to go to this one. So you have to be at this. Whatever you have to make happen, share a room with someone. Flights to Vegas are very inexpensive. If you could drive to Vegas, there's just so many ways you can get there. There's really no excuse whatsoever not to be there. We still have several months before you can get childcare, get everything lined up that you want to do. Just get it in your calendar, commit to it today. Go to enagic.com, buy your ticket. And while you're buying your ticket, buy an extra one. If you can't afford an extra one, put it on a credit card, do something. Buy one extra ticket for someone else. Why do I want you to buy an extra ticket? Why do I want you to do that? So that you commit to it. If you laid out an extra $150 for another ticket, do you think you're going to work a little bit harder to make sure someone's in that seat? You're not going to want to waste that $150. I sure don't. So invest now in your future business, because I promise you, when you're sitting there in Las Vegas, you're going to be thinking to yourself, man, I wish so-and-so was here. I wish this person was here. I wish that person was here. And I'm seeing other people nodding because they've been to the events and they know what it's like. And you always wish that you had that person with you. So buy an extra ticket and set yourself up to succeed. Okay. So the skills we've been reviewing are very, very simple. Okay. This list is very redundant, and that's for a reason, because we want you to be masters of these skills. We want you to know these skills inside and out, and we want you to be able to do them in your sleep. Okay? They're so easy, anybody can learn them. The greatest thing is you get to earn insane amounts of money in this business while you're learning these basic skills. And most people already possess at least one or two of these skills naturally. Okay, so we know that there are three basic elements to every business. There's the product, the process, and the people. Enagic has the product, it's proven. The process, the 8-point system, the infrastructure, it's all there. The checks cash, everything works. So the only variable is us. How do we create the best number 3 variable we can? By going to work on ourselves and honing and mastering these basic skills. What are they? Very simple. Finding prospects, inviting people to look at our product or opportunity, presenting our product or opportunity, following up professionally, closing the sale, helping new people get started, or the after the sale care, or aftercare as I like to call it. You're always closing. And then next is just building for events, like we were just talking about, building for that event, that big event coming up in September. So we've covered the first 2 skills already. We talked about finding prospects, and I'm going through these very high level tonight. We're not going to delve into these in too much detail. We're just going to hit the high points and make sure that if you missed one of the first 2 calls, you're going to get the basic gist of what we're talking about. Well, we're going to spend the majority of tonight talking about skill number 3, and that's presenting. So finding prospects, it is certainly a skill. Okay, in this business, there are posers, amateurs, and professionals. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, for posers and amateurs, finding people is luck. For professionals, it is a skill. There are people in this business, people locally to us that we know, most of the people on this call know, that are absolute masters at this skill, where they can walk into a Whole Foods store and within 15 minutes, they can have someone walking out of that store with them, going to the Enagic office to see a demonstration and to pick up a Kangen water machine less than an hour later. There are people in this business that are so incredibly skilled, they can walk out of their house with the intention of finding someone to talk to about their business or their opportunity, and they end up sharing it with them within an hour or less. It's a skill. It's something you set out to do, just like anything else. But most people treat it like luck. Oh, I just happened to bump into this person. Oh, well, as luck would have it, I ran into so-and-so at the store. I'm sorry, I don't believe in luck. I just don't. Okay, we create our own luck. We create our own opportunities. If you want to meet people, you go out and you find people to talk to. It's that simple. Okay, so this is the most common objection I get when people are joining this business or starting. I don't know anybody. I just moved here. So did I. When I started this business, the only people I knew outside of my family was the people I worked at my restaurant job with. That was it. And the person who introduced this to me. So I didn't know anybody. Okay. So like I said, for professionals, the core skill is finding people in this business. They can go out and they can meet people anytime, anywhere without a problem. It's just that simple. So amateurs, we don't like to spend time talking about posers and amateurs. We don't want to be in that category. Let's just skip right past that and go to work on being professionals and developing the skills properly. Okay, so how do we build a profitable database? How do we meet people? How do we talk to people? We simply ask them questions. It's that simple. We don't have to go into an in-depth conversation with them. We ask them where they're coming from, where they're going, what they like, where'd they get those nice shoes, right? Because we're always complimenting people. Okay? Based on those simple questions, we may identify something in them that makes them a candidate for our business. We don't go pitching them right away. We don't start giving them facts about electrolysis or ionization or molecular hydrogen. We ask them questions, very simple questions, and we store that information in our head. And we find a creative way to keep in touch with them. And when the time's right, we introduce them to someone else or to a video or something else, but we do that later. We're going to introduce them. We're not going to pitch them, okay? So we're asking questions. We're finding creative ways to stay in touch with them. Okay, it's very, very simple. How do you master this skill? You put first of all, you have to have a list. You have to have a list. If you don't have a list in this business, you're not treating it like a real business. I'm sorry. We don't have the capacity to remember all that information in our brain and organize it and unless you're an absolute genius. Congratulations, good for you. But most of us need a list, whether it's a written list or a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. As long as you have a list, okay, I don't even care how you organize it. It's up to you. This is your business. Okay, but put everyone on your list. Make sure everyone goes there, even people that told you they would never be part of your business. Next, you anchor. Who do they know? Tap into their people, their network. You constantly expand your list. You're adding new names every day. You make sure that you're meeting new people and adding them to your list constantly. I like to meet one new person per day. Whether they're a prospect or not, doesn't matter. I just like to meet people as a habit now. And then get out there. You network on purpose. Because we meet people everywhere we go. Everywhere. Networking groups, social media, church, restaurants, coffee shops, when you're skiing, golfing, traveling, shopping. Anything that you enjoy can be a prospecting activity. So just simply get out there and do what you enjoy doing. Meet people, be outgoing, smile, compliment people, and just start conversations. It's that easy. You don't have to worry about pitching them on your product or opportunity. This is not the time to be doing that. You use a database. Like I said, however you want to organize it. I like to have 3 categories: new people, people that I'm currently working through my funnel, and people that I'm following up with later. It's that simple. I like to have their basic information. I like to have whether they're on a scale of 1 to 10, where they're at. How do I find that out? I ask them, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on what I showed you, 1 being you're not interested, don't ever talk to me again, 10 being I want to get started right now, where do you see yourself? Ask them, they'll tell you. I'm a 6. Okay, great. Well, what would make you a 7? And based on the information you have about them, you have a couple simple notes that you can jot down and reference that later. So use a database. Okay, always be ready when you're out there prospecting. You never know when you're going to meet your next success. So be dressed for success. Look sharp. Be aware of how you look. Be aware of how you smell. Be aware of how you present yourself, because you never know when you're going to meet the next person that's going to blow up your business. So always look good, always be ready, and always be sharp. Never disqualify anyone. Always assume that that person is a qualified prospect. Okay, ask about their interests, their passions, and their why. This is simple. We're talking about them, not us. Be yourself. Just be your best self. We're going to talk about this later. Okay, genuine compliment. This is the best way to start a conversation with anybody. We talked about this a lot the last couple of weeks. Ask about their shoes. Ask them where they got them. Ask them about something they're wearing. Just be genuine. Don't make something up. People can sense that. Be genuine. Be open and honest with people. Represent your brand. Just don't be crazy about it. Okay? Don't be a walking sandwich board, but represent. Wear the logo tastefully. Carry your Kangen water bottle with you. Be a product of your product and have a lot of fun while you're doing it. Skill number 2, we covered this 2 weeks ago, inviting. Okay, great. Now we've met some people. We're starting a nice little list. If you're brand new, you're excited, you have 10, 12 people on your list. What do I do with them? I have no idea how to talk to these people. Okay, so get with your sponsor, get with the person who's mentoring you in this business and get them to help you. Because this is the most important skill in this business. This is the gateway skill. You may have the best product on the planet, which we do. I believe with all of my heart, we do at eNagic. But if we can't get people to look at it, to see what it can do, if we can't get people to see how life-changing Kangen water and the eNagic business is, then how are they ever going to join us? Okay? So this is the gateway. This is the bridge to that gap. This is crossing over that chasm. Okay? So again, use a third party. Get someone to help you make those first few invitations till you get comfortable doing it. We're not hunters, we're farmers. So we're trying to educate people. We're not trying to pitch them. We're not trying to dazzle them. Remember how you were invited to your first event. Think about how you would like to be invited to something. Be empathetic. Don't pitch. Don't start presenting. Again, this isn't the time to be talking about microclusters or negative ORP. No pitching. Okay. How do you make a successful invitation? It's very simple. Like I said, use a third party, especially in your first year. Have someone help you make those invitations. It makes it a lot easier on a three-way call. Don't be emotionally attached to the outcome. Okay, just continue exposing people. Be yourself. Once again, just be more bold, more confident, and then bring passion and strong posture. Again, we're going to talk about this today in presenting as well. Okay, the process is simple. It's easy. You're just in a hurry. You're complimenting the prospect. You're making the invitation. You're asking them, if I invited you to this meeting, would you come? It's a simple value exchange. You're getting a time commitment from them. You're confirming that time commitment. You're scheduling the call, the next meeting, and then you're getting out of there. It's that simple. It takes less than 30 seconds. We have scripts for this. We went through these last time. I'm not going to go through these tonight for the sake of time, but if you would like these scripts, we have plenty scripts for different scenarios. These are backbone scripts that you can take and you can customize to your own speech patterns, to something that's congruent with you. Okay, but we have the general idea of what you're trying to say. It's very, very important that you get at least 7 of these 8 points into your invitation. It's very, very important. Okay, so again, if you want to talk more about inviting, reach out to me or review the video from last time, and you can get some more details on that. But I really want to get into the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here tonight. So skill number 3 is presenting. Now we've met our prospects, we have our working list, and now we're starting to get people in the room. Okay, presenting can be a lot of different things, and we're going to talk about some different ways that you can do presentations and be a presenter without having to be a great public speaker. Because typically when you hear the word presenting or you see this skill on a list, you're like, ooh, I'm afraid of that. I don't want to do that. I don't like public speaking. I don't like doing presentations. You may have, think back to a book report you had to give in 3rd grade where you were just embarrassed and, you know, it just ruined you for doing presentations for the rest of your life. That's okay. You don't have to be a great public speaker. Again, when we say anyone can master these skills, anyone can master them. We have seen some of the shyest, quietest, most timid, soft-spoken individuals reach ranks in Enagic that are astronomical, and they're fantastic presenters. Okay, so you do not have to be a Tony Robbins or you know, some great public speaker up on stage. You can get your point across, you can be compelling, you can sell, you can do this business very, very effectively without being a great public speaker. So again, using a third party is crucial in presenting. Even when we're doing presentations at the office, we're still using a third party. We're edifying one another. We're using the audience often as our third party. So when you look at presentation, almost always there is a third party involved. Okay, why? Because you're not the expert. It's that simple. If you're brand new in this business, maybe you're a 1A or a 2A, you've been involved a little while, but you start talking to your friends and your family and people that know you about this, and you start talking about high-level stuff like negative ORP and molecular hydrogen, they know you're not a water expert because they've known you your whole life. They know that this is brand new to you, so why? You're not fooling anyone. Using a third party makes it so easy to defer questions, to defer objections. You can lean 100% on the person who does actually have the answers, that does have experience getting people across the line and getting them this technology in their house, getting them into the business. You get to lean on all that experience and all that great knowledge while you get to witness it firsthand. It is so simple. I like to think of a 1A to 3A as a trainee in Enagic. Okay, it's so simple. You make your list, you get with your sponsor, and you make some calls together. You get some people to the demo. Your sponsor does the demo, or you get them to the office or to a public presentation. Or if you don't have that in your area, you sit in your living room and pop a DVD in, or I don't think anybody does it anymore. You just watch YouTube on your big screen, and there you have a presentation right in your living room. So you don't have to be a masterful presenter to do this business. Believe me, I have friends that have gone 6A and beyond before ever doing a single Kangen water presentation themselves. More than one of them. Okay, it happens all the time. So you don't have to be masterful. You don't have to be an expert. In fact, we don't want you to be an expert, because the more information you have, then the less likely you are to rely on a third party. Third parties are crucial. I don't care who you are in this business, everyone uses them. Eli Daffish talks about third party on every single 9 a.m. call. I don't even know what his rank is. It's astronomical. And he still uses third party validation. Again, they know we're not the expert. What if they ask you a question that you can't answer? Then you look like a fool when you can't answer it, because you're trying to be an expert, but you can't even answer a simple question. And the other thing is, being an expert doesn't duplicate. How's your business ever going to blow up if you are busy answering every single question for every single person? It just doesn't work. So again, in this business, it doesn't matter what works. It only really matters what duplicates. Because you may be a great salesperson, you may be an expert, but that is really, really, really hard to duplicate, especially on a high level. Okay, so presenting can be a lot of different things. It can be the live product overview. It can be a live business overview. It could be a recorded product overview or a recorded business overview. Again, if you go to my YouTube channel, they're all there. We have a Kangen water presentation. We have a business presentation. We have all these training calls. There's all this stuff that's out there. Getting a prospect to any of these things, getting them to watch any of these things, or better yet, sitting down and watching it with them, is the same as doing a presentation. And it's many times more powerful. Maybe you're at the gym and you have a tea bag with you, and you could do a 2-cup demo, or you see someone comes over and they're filling up a gallon of water from your machine, and you can do a quick oil demonstration or wash a few tomatoes. That's doing a presentation. Getting someone on a 3-way call to talk to your sponsor or to talk to another expert in the business, that's presenting. Going over if you have a loaner unit and you go over someone's house and you install that, you show them how the machine works, that's doing a presentation. Maybe you go on Facebook and you want to do a tea demonstration or a pH drops. Dan Edlund is masterful at these 3 or 4 minute live videos where he will do something so simple that literally anyone on planet Earth can learn how to do in less than a minute. And he gets the most insane response from it. And he sells products from it. So these simple little things you can do are just various ways that you can present. If you have 5 minutes in your day, you can go on Facebook Live and you could post a 3-minute video of you demonstrating the hydrating properties of Kangen water. You can demonstrate the power of washing your produce. You could demonstrate the power of emulsifying oil to clean carpet, you name it. You could do that in 2 or 3 minutes on Facebook Live, get immediate responses, and have people asking you questions. While Jonathan Candelario was doing his first presentation at the Enagic office, he had his phone on Facebook Live recording his presentation. I was watching his phone. I was watching people comment and ask questions about Kangen water from the internet while he was doing a presentation live in front of people. He had 2 enormous nets of people watching. It's masterful. Doing simple things like that. If you have a guest on this Zoom call today, you're presenting. Okay, utilizing the Enagic office, get people there. If you are, I want to pause on this for a minute. If you are blessed enough to live near Seattle, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest, to have access to the Enagic office, let me just stress how underutilized this office is. And I'm going to unmute Dan because he's probably going to want to chime in on this. We have the most incredible staff that cares about us, that cares about our customers. We have a beautiful showroom, a beautiful training facility, 2 conference rooms. People can get free water. They can get their supplies. You can book it anytime you want to do a presentation. It is absolutely a godsend having this Seattle office. And if you live near an Enagic office, whether it be Orlando or Torrance or San Diego or Chicago or New York or Hawaii, or I'm missing one, Florida, I think I said Florida, either way, Houston or Dallas, Texas. You are just so blessed to have access to that office. So please utilize that as a resource. Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's something that I learned from Carlos is, you know, he said, you know, back in the day when they first opened the Enagic office, he built his entire organization a lot faster than most, just because he utilized the office so much. And, you know, and I'll give an example, and this is certainly not every day, but, you know, these kind of things happen. But, you know, Steve was there yesterday, and I had walked into the office, and there was a gentleman who was very disgruntled and a little bit angry and over some things, and he didn't understand anything about a sponsorship system, and so he was being a little bit, you know, I don't know, a little bit standoffish with the staff, and they were a little bit standoffish with him. They didn't really know what to do with this guy. And I come walking in, and I'm kind of like, hey, what's the problem here? And then the guy turns around, and he's a guy that I knew from 7-8 years ago in the car business. And, you know, I'm able to take him, walk him over, sit him down at a table, get him calmed down for 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes, and kind of figured out what the guy was trying to do and what was upsetting him, and ended up selling him an SD 501, you know, and, you know, but if I'm not in the office, that doesn't happen, you know, and if I'm not utilizing it, and, you know, there's you know, like I said, and that's not something that happens every day, but, you know, just on chance, you know, I happened to see this guy that I knew from years and years ago. And, you know, and so, you know, the office is there for us to utilize. And, you know, we've done an amazing job, especially the last 6 months of 2019 and all of 2020, of really keeping that Saturday filled. I mean, people stepping up and doing the demo, and different people, so that people get different views. So, you know, and I know for the guys, I mean, like I see Dan and stuff on here that are out a little bit ways, and it's not easy to do, but, you know, if you live in the vicinity of that office, utilize it. I mean, if you have a prospect and you have a chance to show them that place, I mean, do you understand the credibility? I mean, I do a quick on the outside, and the first thing I do is walk down that hall, and I stop every time and I say, look at this. And it shows all of the offices that we have all around the world, and just the credibility and what that brings to, I mean, name me another company, the Arbonnes, the Amways, the anything, who has that? Who has what we have? I mean, do you realize how real that makes it to somebody to see that, to see people coming in and wanting water? I always tell people this, and keep this in mind, you know, if you ever, because most people work Monday through Friday, if you have somebody who's new and they can't even come to the 1:30, 1:45 demo at the office, if you can at all, just, hey, can you meet me there at 1:15? I just want to talk to you real quick, give you some new jugs, find a reason to give them there. Because when they walk in at 1:15 and there's 6 people at the water lines trying to fill up, and 3 people standing there processing orders, and people funneling in and out, they walk into that place and they feel like they're missing out on something. You know what I mean? I mean, most people, they don't understand why they're even being asked to come to some crazy water office. And then the next thing you know, they're looking around at all these people, you know, and you start talking, oh yeah, that order is going, you know, being processed and going to get shipped to, you know, Arizona. And oh, that's my buddy, he sells machines. And they start looking around going, oh my God, you know, and instead of, you know, Jonathan being the crazy guy that invited him to this thing, I mean, it becomes real very, very fast. So, you know, you know, JJ's one of the people, if JJ's still on here, that could, you know, can tell you, I mean, we're, you know, if you live 100 miles from a Kangen office, you're incredibly blessed, because 98% of the planet doesn't. And so if you're local and you have that, man, utilize it, you know, bring a third party person and let them talk to somebody like me or Steve or an Elizabeth when she's there. And I mean, you know, bring validation to everything that you're doing. I'll just tell you one more story. I was in there yesterday morning, because every Monday morning I go in and I start my week there, but we were closed on Monday. So it was Tuesday, and a girl walks in at 9:20 and she looks a little lost. And I said, can I help you with anything? And she goes, oh my God, I have my best friend in Portland has been telling me about this Kangen water for 4 years. And she's just the greatest chick. And I was driving by and I saw Kangen water and I thought, oh my God. And I go, I hope her name is such and such. And she goes, oh my God, it is such and such. And she sat down at the table and talked to me about her friend in Portland for a half an hour. And 20 minutes after she left, her friend from Portland called me and goes, "Oh my God, do you realize what you just did for me?" I mean, that girl was so blown away, and she saw the office, and, you know, me just calling her out by name before she ever said who her friend was, she goes, "That gave me so much credibility." And it just turned into this amazing experience for this girl. And the girl turns around and she wants to buy a machine, you know, and obviously she's going to get it from the girl down in Portland. But, you know, if that girl wouldn't have walked into that office at that particular moment, maybe it wouldn't have been that experience. But, you know, maybe you can be there to provide that experience for the next person.
Yeah. You know, you never know who's going to walk through that door. And, you know, I have a bit of a process that I go through when every person that is local, it's usually my first go-to is to get them to the office, whether it's to try water or to see a demo. It's always there because I can show them everything that they need to see in one place at one time. I can get validation, and I live 10 minutes away. I know that Dan, you know, is Dan or myself, there's always someone hanging around there that can answer questions or help out. We have an amazing staff that can answer questions. So again, please utilize that office. Dan, thank you so much for sharing. Just great stuff. We need to, and plus, I mean, it's just a great environment. It's an absolute great atmosphere for our customers, and we should be proud of we need to be proud of what we're representing. So, and then the last piece of this is local events, destination events. Obviously, those are presentation opportunities. But really, anytime that you're telling your story is also presenting. And honestly, telling your story is the most powerful way of presenting, because that's a personal testimony. That's how your life has truly been changed by this technology. You know, your life wasn't necessary. It wasn't the how the machine works that changed your life, right? It wasn't how the technology, the patentedness of the technology. It wasn't the electrolysis enhancer that changed your life. It was what it did for you. It's your story that changed your life. So that's what we really want to share with people, and less about the facts, less about how the machine works and how electrolysis works, and a lot more about how it worked for us. So 4 elements to every story. And we talked about this yesterday at the Enagic office. Okay, your background, very simple. What were you, when you're telling your story, and you could do this in 30 seconds or less, okay, your background, what were you doing before you found Enagic, before you found this opportunity? For me, I was in the restaurant business. My health was poor, okay? That's my background. I did that for I did that for 18 years, okay? What I was doing, your pain, what sucked about it. And I use the word sucked specifically because we want to know what was really bad, not what was bad about it, what sucked about it. Okay, get into their pain. Okay, what is it about their current situation they can't deal with for another second? What was it about your situation that you couldn't live with for another day? Okay, I was broke. I was unhealthy. I had no time. I had no energy. I was constantly sick. I never slept. Okay, my health was ridiculous. I didn't have good relationships with my parents. I didn't have healthy friendships. I didn't like my life. I was very unhappy with who I was, and I needed to change as soon as possible. Okay, and then I met a really close friend who introduced me to something that I had never even heard of, and it opened my eyes. And today, my results are I live a life of passion and purpose. I get to truly change the lives of other people's in the same way that my life has been transformed over these past 6 years. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited about next year. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow morning and find out what that day is going to bring for me. I'm excited about my life, and I have passion. That's my story. And it has all 4 of those elements. And every single person on this call, whether you're a 6A2-3 or you're a 0A and you've never made a sale, you have this story. You may not have all of the results of number 4, but you have an outlook. You have hope for your future, okay? Okay, so let's say if this was a brand new person. You know what? A month ago, I was canned from this job that I hated anyway. My girlfriend left me and my dog died. Life sucked. Okay. This guy showed up at the gym out of nowhere, shared a gallon of water with me, told me to come to this thing. I saw this thing, it blew my mind. Now my mind is opened up to time freedom. I realize that I don't have to work 60 hours a week at a job that I hate, and I'm excited about what the future holds for me. That's simple. That's compelling. And that enrolls other people. Okay. So again, just go to work on what your story is. What was your background? What was the pain in that? What did you discover? And what were your results? This is like that feel, felt, found principle that we talk about. And we're going to talk about feel, felt, found a lot when we get into objections in a few weeks. But this is your story. And everybody has this story. So go to work on it. Practice telling it and get really good at sharing this with other people. Okay, so let's talk about mastering your presentation. First of all, learn your story. Be yourself. Make sure your story lines up with who you really are. Make sure it's accurate. Be truthful. You don't have to exaggerate your story, okay? But know it and be good at talking about it. Next, you want to be good at talking about the business presentation, especially once you've made a few sales in our business and you've maybe hit the rank of 3A or 4A. You want to start really getting good at explaining our business and how it works, because this is how you're going to remember. It's a lot easier to talk to people about time and money than it is to talk to them about water. So if you're going to talk to them about time and money, you better be ready to show them something. If you're sitting across the table from them at a Starbucks and you have a sheet of paper in 5 minutes to draw something out, it sure does help to be able to show someone with a pen and a piece of paper a gist of how our business works. Okay, learn the training presentations next. This is a very simple training presentation. You could you could put this on your laptop. You can stand in front of a room of 100 people and you can give this presentation without ever really having to know this material. It's very simple. There's a lot of other training I know Liz Christian has some great training presentations. Amanda Janis has some great training presentations. Carlos Gonzalez, all the great trainers have them. So just make sure you get familiar with the training presentation that works for you, okay? Remember, you're the messenger, not the message. So again, that's why a third party is often important. Tell your story, make sure it creates interest, and be prepared. We're going to talk about preparation next, after we cover the 4-question presentation. Now this is, I learned this from Omar Ramirez on the Saturday morning call with Eli and Jelena about 1.5 years ago. I was driving to a demo that was about 1.5 hours away. It was a Saturday morning and I was on the call. And my friend Omar Ramirez was on the call and he talked about his 4-question demo. And after I heard it, I said, wow, I'm going to try this morning. And so here it is. When you get to the person's house and you're sitting there and maybe you have your demo kit or whatever it is. Now remember, this is for an in-person, usually if you're talking to 1 or 2 people or a small family, okay? Rather than setting up your full demo and getting ready to give them a 3.5-hour presentation on Kangen water, first sit across the table and just have a conversation with them and start by saying, okay, what would you like to know first? And they're going to give you some information. They may ask you what based on their response, they're going to tell you what they already know, basically. Okay, so maybe they just want to know how this is going to help their how this is going to help hydrate them better, or maybe they might have more energy. Okay, very simple. You can address that by showing them a tea demonstration. Very simple. You don't have to do the whole presentation to answer that question, right? Okay, great. So you answered that question. Now, what would you like to know next? Okay, maybe they may say, oh, well, you know, a friend of mine told me that they wash their vegetables in this. Or, you know, okay, how else would this benefit me having this in my home? Okay, so now you show them something else. Maybe this time you show them the tomatoes and the oil. Or maybe this time you show them the pH drops if their kids are there. Or you gauge your presentation to what their needs are. But again, rather than going through the full presentation, you show them something else. You are interactively answering questions of theirs. After you've made this next point, you now ask them, okay, now what questions haven't I answered for you? If they have more questions, they're going to ask you, okay, This may be when they ask you how much does it cost, or is there financing, or by these questions, you know that these are closing questions. So you know where you have a really good idea of where they are. Okay, so now you can go forward with what would you like to do next? Okay, so this is very, very simple. And if you stick to this format, by the time you get to those third and fourth questions, you're going to be finding yourself more or less done with your presentation and more than anything, answering what they really came to find out. Okay, so this is a very simple, basic way to do this. By the way, I did try this that morning, and I walked away in less than 20 minutes with paperwork on an SD501. And since then, I have been doing all of my in-home presentations this way. Okay, here's what I do. I carry my demo kit with me, very simple demo kit. When I go into people's homes, I don't bring in a tour van full of stuff. I have a bottle of Kangen water, I have some tea, I have a bottle of Dasani, and I have some oil, maybe some tomatoes or walnuts, and some pH drops, chlorine drops. That's it. I don't carry a meter with me. I do a very simple demo. It can fit in my backpack. And then I carry this sheet with me. It's two-sided. On one side, it has every machine, every product that eNagic makes with the price and a brief description. You don't have to take pictures of this. If you want this, email me and I'll send it to you. I carry it on a laminated double-sided sheet. If you've been around the office, you've seen these. Okay, this has every question that they need to know about the products. And then I flip it over. It has a very simple overview of the business. It even shows them their break-even point on whether they buy one or two products. A brief overview of the compensation plan, how it works, how they can earn their machine for free. I can show them how it makes sense to own two or more products if they're doing this as a business. This is the most powerful tool in my toolbox. So again, if you want this, reach out to me and email me, and I can get it over to you. Like I said, I just go to Staples and I get them to print this and laminate it on heavy stock for me. And it's just a very, very, very valuable tool. So anyway, moving forward, I want to talk about secrets to a masterful presentation, because again, presenting is my favorite part of this business. And so some keys to giving a very good presentation without having to have years and years of experience. We talk about state, getting into state. So before you give maybe you're not giving a presentation at the office or in a big room, but maybe you're just going in front of one or two people. You want to make sure you're in the right state, you're in the right frame of mind. Whatever you have to do to get there, okay? Listen to something that inspires you when you're going there. Don't talk to someone on the phone who brings negative energy into your life 5 minutes before you present. Just make sure that you are set up for success before you go into that meeting. Be prepared for anything. So be prepared. This comes from knowing. This comes from having experience. So make sure you have extra of whatever it is you might need extra of. Think ahead for things that might happen. Think ahead, think about the day of the week, traffic conditions, etc. Be prepared for anything and everything, okay? Record yourself. This is so important. And so many people don't do this. Okay, record yourself. If you don't believe me, when we get off this call tonight, call yourself and leave yourself a voicemail and listen to it. And be amazed at how awful you sound if you're not used to doing this all the time. Stand in front of the mirror and do a 2-cup demonstration and record yourself. Or, just stand in front of the mirror and do it. You'd be amazed at how awful you may sound to yourself. So go to work on that. The point is, be aware at how you look. Be aware of how you sound. If you don't sound professional, people won't buy from you. They won't trust you. You won't have credibility. Do you say or 55 times in a minute? Okay, maybe you need to go to work on cleaning up your speech patterns a little bit. Do you talk excessively with your arms? You lose credibility with that. Be aware of how you present yourself. Film yourself. That's why we like to film ourselves when we present. So I review everything that I do on film, including these calls. I watch them and I listen to myself and I critique myself so that I can be better. That's how we become masterful presenters. Be convicted. This means being sold on what you're selling. This is very important. If you don't believe 100,000% in what you're selling, you will not be able to sell it. I promise. So you have to believe in your product, and more importantly, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't own the product, you can't sell the product. So whatever that means for you. And if you need to get complete on some things regarding our technology, then get complete on that. Get with someone who can answer those questions for you and get you convicted. Okay? Genuine smile and eye contact. I don't need to explain this. It goes without saying. Focusing on their needs. Obviously, this goes without saying. Keep it simple. We do not need a 3-hour water presentation. You do not need any longer than 40 minutes to give a water presentation. In fact, a lot of people will argue that that's way too much. Keep it simple. Less is always more. And finally, just be you. Be yourself. Be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. When I started doing the demos at the Spaghetti Factory a couple years ago, I did and said everything that my sponsor did when he did the demo. I was essentially a mini him doing the demo. And yeah, that worked a few times, so I got used to doing it and got over the fear and the uncertainty. But then it became mine. It evolved into my presentation. It is now congruent with who I am. So the way you present must be congruent with who you are. Don't use language patterns if they don't feel or sound right to you. Just be yourself. Before we close, I want to give a shameless plug to something that has been transformative in every area of my professional and personal life, and that is Toastmasters International. I've been part of Toastmasters for, if I count up total, 8 years now. I've been in and out of involvement with Toastmasters. And if you want to learn to be a great public speaker, if you just want to learn to improve on your public speaking, your leadership, your delegation skills, just any skills that are required to be effective in business, Toastmasters is the most inexpensive way and honestly fun way to become masterful at these things or just improve. Okay. By the way, I get paid nothing by endorsing or promoting Toastmasters. I'm just that passionate about it. It has made that much of a difference for me. It doesn't matter where you live. There are clubs everywhere, all over the place at all kinds of times throughout the day. It is amazing at teaching you how to become a better speaker, a better listener, a better leader, just everything. So please keep that in mind. Remember, the person with the marker makes the money, right? So just get out there, tell your story. And the reality is, if I can do this, you can do it, which means you can teach it, teach people, other people how to do it too. It's that simple. We're not going to get into the all-out massive action tonight. I just want to remind you to make sure that your goals are out there. Make sure you're cashing out. You're doing all of these things every day in your business. We're interviewing and identifying. We're introducing. We're inviting. We're presenting. We're telling our story, which is creating orders. And we're investing in our personal development and our growth. We're helping others do the same. We're cashing out. If you need the cashing out form or the product form that I shared with you earlier, please reach out to me. Steve@truehealthlegacy.com. You can find this on YouTube, True Health Legacy. Just subscribe to the channel. Please check back often. We're constantly posting new content. I want to thank you for your time. I want to stop sharing my screen here and open it up for if anybody has any last minute questions, comments, or concerns. We got about 2 minutes left. You can unmute yourself and jump on here. Otherwise, I don't know if Amanda Janice and her afro have or want to pop on here. She's giving me a thumbs up. She's on camera. That means something.
That means that I got.
Oh, look at that.
really fast and it was really hot in there, but I'm here. I made it. So, great presentation tonight, Steve. I really, really appreciate all the things that you guys do in Agic and around the office and the whole Seattle area. It's a blessing to be part of the team. You really presenting, you can do it anywhere. I've done it on the trunk of my car in the Costco parking lot. I've done it at restaurants, gyms. It really, as long as there's like a little flat surface, and sometimes you don't even need that. You don't have to know everything. You don't need to know how to do a slide presentation. It's really just about taking that action, right? How bad do you want this? You can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So if they're interested, they're interested. You can't really mess that up. You just got to go out there and do it. You know, get past the no's and to the yes.
That's absolutely true.
Hey, Steve, can I give a shout out to you guys real quick?
Yeah.
So Dan, what Dan did for that gal at the
Office.
the office, that right there and this right here really epitomizes what is so incredible about this and why I call it the Kong family. Because it is truly a family of people who, you know, I'm kind of getting choked up a little bit here because it's just so amazing how this whole company, this system, the way everything is designed, it's designed for us to help each other. And, you know, I'm almost done with Mr. Oshiro's book, and literally this is like what's happening right here, right now, tonight on this meeting, and what's been happening over the last three weeks, 4 weeks, you know, month and a half, whatever. It's literally the epitome of what this company is all about, you guys. This is just absolutely golden, and this is what makes this company so special. Is people like all of you here and all the other ones that are out there that are so special and so magical, and just, you know, it's all about this company is really designed to create this, and the people that are involved with it are doing it, are putting it out there, and it's just fantastic. It's heartwarming and brings tears to my eyes, and I'm so grateful to be part of it. Every one of you, I love you all. And I can't wait to see you guys in Vegas.
I appreciate it, JJ. JJ, you know, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all that you do. You know, you do that show every morning, brother. I mean, that's tiresome, and, you know, you're at it and you're passionate, and that's just it. You know, we're here, mission before commission, right? And that's just it. You know, we're up and at it. You know, you're doing it early every single day, and you do it because you care. You do it because you love people. And that's the thing, you know, we have to be so convicted that we should feel bad when we should feel sorry for people that don't take advantage of what we have to offer.
I do.
Because it's that life-changing, right?
Hey, Steve, can I just say one thing before everybody goes? I mean, and it really got prompted by what JJ had to say, but, you know, if you think about the fact that if you just took the water and you realize how compelling and how life-changing that is, if you just took that in and put it in one compartment, and then you took what he was talking about in the family, and I mean, do you know how many people out there are already trying to consume something, but they're all searching for more. They're searching for a brotherhood. They're searching for a sisterhood. They want to belong to something. They want to feel better about their life. They want camaraderie. They want community. And the fact that, you know, I can look on here and see 9, 10, 11, you know, we're going to look on here in 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and there will be hundreds of people on these calls. And, you know, and the sad thing is that I'm sitting here really tonight thinking, you know what, I understand we're the groundbreakers and I understand we're first, but you know what, it's a shame that there's not more people on here tonight, because the thing is so many people either A, want what we have, and B, are looking for what we have to offer, and their own limiting beliefs keep them from looking. And like Amanda said, she said it the best, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person and then vice versa. But the thing is there's people out there, and you got to sift, like she was saying, sift and sort. But there's people that are looking for this. I mean, look what we have to offer. Look, I mean, if we just had the water and had none of this, it would be enough, or just had this and didn't have the water, but we have all of it. And, and people, they want to belong to something bigger than themselves. And this fits the bill in 100 different ways. And, you can screenshot this, 11 people. This is ridiculous. In years to come, I mean, we're going to look back and just go, God, can you remember when nobody knew about this? Nobody knew what to offer. So that's just what I wanted to say.
No, I appreciate, Dan. You're absolutely right. And this right here, the camaraderie, the fellowship, whatever you want to call it, that's what people really need to be a part of. And what we have going on here, we keep doing what we're doing. People are going to see it though. And that's going to be the draw. That's what's going to make is what sets us apart from the Amways and the Air Bonds and the Young Livings and all the other, all the other things. And what makes people want to be a part of this. So we keep doing what we're doing. People are going to see this. But I agree. We absolutely need to get our exposure up and get more people on calls just like this. And it's because of you guys. It's because of the participation. It's the level of excitement and enthusiasm that we have, not just in the Northwest, but around Enagic. It's the collaboration. It's people coming together. Again, putting that mission before commission and just getting it done, putting training to get presentations together, doing demos and presentations across pay lines and, just helping each other out. What we have is so very special, and I'm just so grateful and so blessed to be a part of it. I am even more grateful and blessed to be part of it with you and your teams, and just really excited about the future. I want to thank you for your time. We're a few minutes over. You can check out the recording on YouTube very soon. I'm going to hit stop recording now. Thank you all. We will see you. Oh, by the way, our next meeting. So 2 weeks from today, I will be traveling. So we're going to be meeting again in 3 weeks from tonight. I'll throw out an email and a text about that and get the date out there to you. And then we're going to be hitting skill number 4, which is following up. It's going to be exciting. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Reach out to me for any questions, comments, concerns. I love you. God bless you. Have a great night.
Love you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for everything.
Love y'all.
Have a great night.
Nice job, Steve.
Awesome,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Thank you.
Don't forget your hugs, kids.